Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In behalf of Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar, assisted by PCOO Undersecretary George Noel Puyet and PIA Director General Harold Clevite, we would like to welcome you all here at the UNESCO Global Launch of an International Peace Movement, Not by Force but by Art Forum. The event is an international peace movement, not by force but by art, under UNESCO patronage in the triple observance of the United Nations Day for Global Creativity and Innovation, Earth Day, and World Dance Week, and to usher International Dance Week celebration of the International Theater Institute on its 70th anniversary. It presents a collaborative interfaith, intercultural, theatrical liturgy for peace linked to the substantial development goals with a special focus on the protection of the oceans. The event will be participated in with representatives coming from China, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, and the Philippines. So without further ado, may I introduce to you Ms. Cecil Guidote Alvarez for her opening speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we really are grateful to PCOO and its staff for hosting this important global launch that hopefully will provide an alternative cultural diplomatic initiative where artists can come together and provide the linkage, the bondage, the affinity for a safer, peaceful, and sustainable world. And for that intention, we have the Earth Savers, UNESCO Artists for Peace. A few of them are here. They are handicapable blind singers, together with a deaf interpreter, for a special hymn or song for peace. The guitarist is blind, the singer is blind, and Edna Sanchez is the deaf interpreter.
But we are learning from the wars our fathers make. Let's pray together that war will be over. Please stop the violence and live in peace. Let's pray together. Lord, heal our land. Let's pray together. Lord, heal our
you. That's the Earth Savers blind, handicapable artist. We just like to showcase that arts is a forceful education for inclusive lifelong learning. And the singer uh, Marie Corbuk is blind, but you won't believe what she graduated with. It's BSE in dance, and she's blind. Because in Earth Savers, our blind singers also dance. John, of course, is a guitarist and a singer. And for their livelihood, they sing in restaurants, in hotels, and in simple occasions, like this actually memorable occasion, because we have to thank really PCOO, PIA, for this wonderful privilege of having this briefing with the media through this RTVM Kalayaan studio. And Edna Sanchez, the deaf interpreter, is a mother of a deaf person. So that's to give an example of the socially integrated group, the Earth Savers, that was honored by UNESCO as Artists for Peace. Of course, this is specially made possible because we have the blessing of His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte. And we would like to read his welcoming message to the participants and delegates that will be coming from artists of claimant countries of the disputed sea and the divided Korean peninsula, but most of all, also, eventually, a complimentary dialogue will be held in the Senate, which is made possible by the Senate spouses, headed by our Mrs. Lourdes Bing Pimentel, the mother of our Senate President, who has given his go signal. The message of His Excellency. My warmest greetings to the participants of the global launch of the international peace movement, not by force, but by art, organized by the Earth Savers UNESCO Artists for Peace in partnership with the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and the International Theatre Institute. Attaining peace and progress is a common aspiration of all nations. As global citizens, we know fully well that there is nothing more fulfilling than living in a society founded on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. We in government never cease to find ways to achieve this goal, and we are glad that your organizations continue to help us in this endeavor. I express my firm support for your initiative to use art as a powerful medium to promote harmony, goodwill, and cooperation among our citizens. Your peaceful manner of fighting against the social ills that plague our communities is indeed worthy of praise and admiration. May the Art Speak for Peace Festival be a venue to unite and engage peoples of the world in pursuits that will establish solidarity and development in our respective countries. Now, more than ever, let us work together to foster peace, eradicate poverty, and protect the environment. Let us all be vigilant and help stop criminality, corruption, and terrorism. It is our collective will that shall bring us closer to the bright and better tomorrow that we aim for. I wish you a successful occasion. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines. So with that message, welcoming message from President, we would like also to focus on a very major partner in successfully realizing this vision of peace, harnessing artists and mobilizing them, not by force, not by arms, but by art, to conscientize us to a peaceful, sustainable. And our major partner is, of course, the Senate Spouses Foundation, which is headed by Mrs. Lourdes Bing Pimentel. She heads this group of wives, daughters, husbands of the senators, and in fact, several senators as well have endorsed the program. I'd like to ask her to give her point of view, because the Senate Spouses Foundation, which she heads, and she herself is an artist, a composer who has been creating songs for peace, for freedom, particularly during martial law. So we would like to call Mrs. Lourdes Bing Pimentel for her message. She has been there with us together with several senators. Senator Legarda.
Test. Can you hear? Thank you, Cecil. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome. And I would like to greet our ITI UNESCO Director and also our Information UN Officer and our former Chair of Wikang Pilipino. After listening to, first let me congratulate Mrs. Cecil Alvarez for organizing and conceptualizing this festival forum. And after listening to the song, the peace should start in us. Ang lahat in Tagalog ng kapayapaan ay manggagaling sa ating sarili. So I'm so happy that we conceptualize this forum without fighting for peace without using force. Imagine, through music, through poems. Our ITI director, Mr. Tobias, is a poet, he mentioned. And I was telling him a little while ago, maybe one of your poems, we can put music in that poem, because God also gave me the gift of music composition. So we can really do a lot. Especially for those who believe in God. I really strongly believe that all of us has that mustard seed in our hearts. It is in the Bible, if you are a believer, that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will have that power in you to change and bring anything you want in this world, and you can do it. And this morning, we all have that mustard seed in our hearts. And for those who are present here, and for those who will perform this coming forum, they are all dancers, singers. They have all this mustard seed with that one message to bring peace to the talent that God gave us. The talent to dance, the talent to sing, the talent to write poems, the talent to write or sing or compose. Use all the gifts that God gave us to promote peace. And maybe, and I know, that after these coming events, we will all energize not only the Philippines, but the whole world, using art to bring peace. And so this morning, I'm so happy that I was given the chance to share with you my thoughts. And as a mother and a grandmother, I'd like to see peace, especially in the Philippines. And I'd like to see, and I'm so happy in that song, the end, tapos na po ang gera in Marawi, and let there be peace. And after that peace, we will see happiness. And we will see all our children joining hands. After all, we only see the same star, the same stars all over the world, the same moon, the same sun, and we are all children of God. And with that message, I hope and I pray that this forum will really bring peace throughout the world through arts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lourdes Bing Pimentel. You can see the thoughts and feelings of an artist in her. Now we would like also to introduce and call our partner, as has been explained, that it has been organized through the Earth Savers UNESCO Artists for Peace in partnership with the International Theatre Institute and the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassadors and Artists for Peace. We are going to, we're lucky to have him flying in after a World Theatre event in Paris, and from here going to Cuba for a World Dance Week. We have Mr. Tobias Bianconi, who is a very distinguished playwright poet, who is the Director General of the UNESCO International Theatre Institute. And together with his staff, Chen Xiongwen, who is actually the Special Assistant for International Collaboration. We will be discussing further what has to be done after Manila, where we hope to have a Manila Declaration after the forum in the Senate. So may we call on Mr. Tobias Bianconi.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big pleasure to be here in Manila again. After many times I visited this country. It's one of my favorite countries, and it's really a pleasure to be here. I would like to tell you a little bit about the International Theatre Institute, ITI, why it is existing. 70 years ago, you have to imagine, 1948, there was just 3 years after the World War II. And there were a lot of atrocities happening all over the world. People were suffering, and people needed healing forces. So the main idea our founder, the UNESCO, had, that they wanted somebody who helps them to bring mutual understanding and peace to the world, especially with the performing arts, with theater, dance, music theater, any form of theater. And in 1948, the world was really not in a good shape. And I'm sorry to say, the Earth this year and the last years was not in a good shape, especially politically, with wars, with killings, with atrocities again. So our mission is one mission. It's bridging people. We have the mission to bridge the South with the North, the East with the West. We have to use the performing arts theater as a bridge. And you can imagine a bridge is not just going somewhere. A bridge has a two-way path over it. So if I come here as a Swiss citizen to Manila, I learn a lot from you, or maybe you learn a little bit from me. And if you imagine if theater groups come from any countries of the world, from China, from Vietnam, from these conflict states where there is a discussion, people start to talk with each other. People are in dialogue, and this is very important for this world, and it's very important for us as the International Theatre Institute, because without dialogue, nothing will happen. And we believe in dialogue, and we believe that each member of ITI, when he's doing his work, when he puts a play on stage, he has always this little side, but important aspect. Let's unite each other in what we believe in what makes us human. And for this, I'm very happy that Cecil Guidote Alvarez, the president of the Philippine Centers of ITI, and the leader and founder of so many other initiatives, is doing this event, and I abbreviated it, Arts Speak for Peace. We from ITI speak for peace, and I hope with announcing this event, which will happen in a month, the Philippines become like a little capital where we can show to the world that peace is possible, and peace is possible to be attained through the arts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bianconi. Another major partner of us is the City of Manila, Mayor Estrada, who is also an artist, as you know, is a well-known actor, and he has agreed, like the Senate Spouses Foundation, to assist in the hospitality of our foreign participants. And later on, we'll give a background about it, but now we will ask another partner, the United Nations Information Center. As a matter of fact, we will be launching through this event because it's about 2 days before Earth Day. We are going to roll a soap opera on the Sustainable Development Goals, which of course focuses on environment, on peace, on social justice, on sustainable cities. I mean, it's really a wonderful way, again, together with PIA, who said they would be assisting, to reach out to our people to understand this situation about the conflicts in the world, as well as climate catastrophes that we have to resolve. So may I ask Teresa de Bouquet of the United Nations Officer of the United Nations Information Center.
Thank you, Cecile. Please allow me to read a short message that I have prepared for this occasion. When the United Nations was created, its founders envisioned a different kind of world, a world in which disputes were resolved in meeting rooms and not battlefields, a world in which wars were stopped before they broke out, a world that didn't wait for lives to be lost before springing into action. But violent conflicts are on the rise in many parts of the world today. They're becoming more drawn out, complex, and deadly. Civilians are no longer killed in crossfire. They are now the targets of direct attacks. We are also seeing an unprecedented number of people leaving their homes out of fear and desperation. And that is why the UN needs a new approach to peace. The President of the UN General Assembly, Miroslav Lajčák, will convene a high-level meeting on peace building and sustaining peace in New York on the 24th and 25th of April. It will bring world leaders together to focus on conflict prevention, mediation, dialogue, and diplomacy. This is part of a wider effort by UN member states to help our organization do better at fostering peace. And when we say peace, we're talking about the kind of peace that can be taken for granted, the kind of peace that won't disappear in the next election cycle, the kind of peace that is measured not in months or years, but in generations. This is what we call sustaining peace. And this is what we should be working for rather than scrambling for solutions once conflict has broken out. And thus, I consider ourselves doubly blessed that the UNESCO Earth Savers Dream Center, led by Mrs. Cecile Guidote Alvarez, has organized this Art Speak for Peace Festival. Because the UN can learn a lot from creative ideas, creative initiatives like this in order to create a template for other countries, for other continents, for other areas in the world that are rent by conflict. We know that peace can be fostered not just through traditional meetings, negotiations, because people can become so inured to the jargon of negotiation and diplomacy. But through the language of arts and music, these are powerful because they can stir in us our vision for a shared humanity and our deep longing for peace. So may the Art Speak for Peace Festival complement and strengthen traditional efforts to find a way out of conflict. The United Nations family is delighted to have been invited to be part of this innovative initiative, and we look forward to see the impact of this festival rippling across the world, softening hearts hardened by hatred and unresolved conflicts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Teresa de Bouquet. At this point, after she really stressed the importance of the role of the arts, I'd like to call your attention to the paintings in salute of soldiers and citizens, the Bakwits, whose strength of spirit is there to rebuild a destroyed, beautiful city. In fact, it is a heritage city, our Muslim educational center in the Philippines. It is painted by Nemi Miranda. He is a very distinguished painter. This is a set of 32, which we are just showing. And at the festival, at the forum, some of these will be exhibited in the Senate and some in the theater. We'd like to acknowledge and let you know that you will be able to see this wonderful harvest of traditional arts performances by the countries of China, Vietnam, Brunei, Malaysia, Korea, Japan, and of course the Philippines. So you will have a wonderful panorama of cultural diversity. Please don't miss it. The performances are on May 20 and May 22, and this is at the Tanghalang Yaman Lahi of the Emilio Aguinaldo College. And we would like to thank Mr. Danny Dolor, the chairman, for his gracious allowing this use of the theater for this festival. And talking about the festival, we were with Mr. Jolad Santos when we met with Mayor Estrada. Unfortunately, they are busy. We have to greet him happy birthday. It was his birthday yesterday. And he was going around all the barangays with his gifts. So now, also, we have a traffic coming in, so the representative is delayed, but we'll call on Jolad Santos to explain why Mayor Erap was so excited to be involved in the program.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ang ITI UNESCO ay nagkaroon ng maikling pakipagpulong sa dating Pangulo at Alkalde ng Maynila at naghayag po siya ng napakalaking karangalan na ang Maynila ay magiging sentro ng Forum for Peace na gaganapin nga po sa darating na Mayo 21 at 22. At ang atin pong alkalde ay naghayag na maaaring ipagamit niya ang mga tanghalan at ang mga paralan at nanawagan siya para sa tagumpay po ng ating programa na Peace Not by Force but by Arts. Kaya po ang kanyang mensahe nung makipagpulong kami, sabi niya, maging sa kanyang mga kaibigan na punong bayan ay mananawagan siya upang magtagumpay at maparating ang mensahe ng proyektong ito sa buong, hindi lang po sa buong Pilipinas kundi sa buong mundo. Pero sa Pilipinas naman po, nakakatuwang ibalita na mula po sa mga iba't ibang wika natin ay mayroon pong suporta from the Ibatans, at sa 11 major languages po natin hanggang Basilan ay naghayag po sila ng suporta ang mga samahan po ng mga manunulat. Ang manunulat po ng Basilan si Haj Akham ay gumawa po ng mga tula tungkol sa kapayapaan. Ang kaibigan po natin sa Ibatan ay naghayag din po ng pagsulat, paggawa ng mga drama, teatro tungkol sa kapayapaan. Ang manunulat po ng mga Ilocano at gayon din po sa Hiligaynon, sa Subuanon at iba pa pong wika ay naghayag po na gagawa sila ng mga likhang sining ng ang paksa ay tungkol sa kapayapaan at pagpalis sa giyera. Marami pong salamat.
So, diyan po nakikita ninyo ang paggamit ng lahat ng forma ng sining, pagpipinta, at yung isa pong nakatutuwang pangyayari, the City of Manila is lending the Universidad de Manila to be used na gagamitin po para magtatag kami ng mas malawak na pag-aaral sa sining. So we will develop a theater program for Universidad de Manila as an outlet. And of course, the Senate spouses also are having other programs that will be echoed throughout the country. The CHED, the Commission on Higher Education, through Commissioner Adamat, who is an indigenous leader in CHED, has done a memo, and we're distributing it to some of the press, asking the 110 SUK, or the university, state universities and colleges, to send a representative to listen and to input their thoughts and feelings into the forum in the Senate, because it hopes to develop a Manila Declaration which will be sent to the UNESCO General Conference via the UNESCO Executive Board. As you know, the Philippines has won a seat in the Executive Board and is the Vice President of the Executive Board. So that is a wonderful, commitment. And besides, also our ambassador to the UN, Teddy Boy Locsin, has also done his initiative and promised to get a message from the Secretary General. So this is really wonderful. As was told by everybody, they hope it will spill out in the world. Already there is a commitment from our member in the ITI Social Change Network. There is already an echo of this program in Colombia this November, and that is to showcase also the situation in the Caribbean, Latin American region. So we're hoping it's moving. The president of the ITI from Fujairah is also coming, and they're talking about the twinning of the cities. Magkakaroon ho ng tambalan ang Fujairah at Manila for exchange, not just in culture, but even in trade and education and many other aspects. And also the Minister of Culture and Knowledge Development from UAE will be coming, so it will provide also a perspective of the condition or situation in the Arab region or the Middle East. Another colleague of ours in the ITI, Ali Mahdi from Sudan, is also coming, which can input some kind of conditions or situation in Africa. So we hope that this global launch being done here now in the Philippines under the patronage of UNESCO with the partnership of the International Theatre Institute and with the blessing of the executive through the message of the President and of course the Senate through our Senate President, the son of Mrs. Pimentel, Aquilino Pimentel III, and known as Coco Pimentel, has also given this support, and we'd like to acknowledge the other senators of relevant committees na kasama po sa pag-endorso at pagtulong para maging matagumpay ang pagganap sa Senado. Ito po ay ang Committee on Foreign Relations and Climate Change ni Senator Loren Legarda. Kasama nga po ang message niya. Nandyan din po yung Committee on Environment and Agriculture ni Senator Cynthia Villar. The Committee on Education and Culture ni Senator Chis Escudero. The Committee on Peace and Reconciliation, inanyayahan din po natin si Senator Gringo Honasan and Senator Gordon for his Committee on Justice and Human Rights. So, makikita po ninyo ang pakikiisa, Senate, Legislative, and we also have a message from the Acting Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So here we have a unified action of pushing this global peace movement, not by force, but by art. And we'd like to open up in case any of the press and the guests would like to ask questions. But before that, I really want to thank the staff of Yusek Noel Puyat, Tita Maribel Dario, and Noel Dacanay for all the assistance for this press briefing, for this, and PIA, DG Clavite, for this online showing on PTV4. So, do we have any questions to clarify? The performances, so that people know, starts at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then dinner afterwards. Any questions? Oh, there's a mic behind you. No, the mic is behind.
Yeah, anyway, it's okay. Hello, yes. Hello, good morning. I'm Angel Abella. Will there be, from PCOO as well, anyway, will there be participants coming from, also from Mindanao?
Yes.
Yes. Who will they be exactly, ma'am?
Okay. We have partners. For instance, the Imam community have been invited. So it is a nationwide association of imams. We also have the Muslim community. Jolad, what is the name? Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Amando Yusuf, who heads the Muslim community. We also have, and this is amazing, the chief of police in Marawi is an imam. It's amazing. And he has been on the phone with us. So when we discuss the peace issue, we have requested the presidential office of the peace process, Secretary Duresa, who is one of the partners, to provide a briefer on the situation there with the rebels, the peace process, as well as other needs for rehabilitation, because there's a very strong concern for rehabilitation of what you call refugees of conflict, as well as climate catastrophes. So definitely Mindanao is there. It's a major thing. We'd like to say also that we have already premiered on the air with tremendous comments. Ito po ay isang dula. It's a wonderful play on child warriors in Mindanao and traces historically why we have this problem and what is the plight of the child warriors and the child victims. Marilu Jacob wrote this. It has won already 2 awards for us on Radyo Balintatao, both from KBP and from CMMA, because of its very clear way of making you understand why we should stop violence against mankind and Mother Earth. Yes, ma'am. There's the mic, because we're on the air.
Hi, I'm Susan De Leon from the Philippine Information Agency. Ma'am, what exactly will happen to the forum? And I think meron siyang result, yung Manila Declaration of Peace. Yun po ba'y magiging resulta ng forum?
Yeah. With these discussions in the Senate, where there is input from relevant committees of the Senate on the issues, and both civil society and other government agencies, and the youth are involved. This is why DepEd and CHED will be sending delegations. The idea is if we gather all of these thoughts, these feelings, these angst, these problems, somehow we can synergize out of the other continents also who will be reflecting their own concerns. We can synergize a pattern, a Manila Declaration that can be committed to by other countries, where artists will have a more valued premium in their countries, in the policies, and in actually utilizing them as a force of education. For instance, in Earth Savers, we have what we call cultural caregiving. We're known to be great caregivers everywhere in the world. But the artists can give cultural caregiving with this free arts education, empowering out-of-school youth, street kids. We go into prisons. Now we are in conversation for drug rehabilitation, as well as for healing trauma of those in refugee sites, because they're discombobulated. They need the arts as a medium to build confidence and capacity to live again. A lot of them are suicidal. We've gone through different places. And they feel like there's no use to live if your home is gone, if your husband or your child has disappeared or is dead. And so you have to really build something and help in an empathetic way for them to cope and to heal. I think if there is anybody like Mrs. Pimentel, as a matter of fact, is planning a September event also as a spillover. So we're hoping that this will ignite, it will generate, it will allow a lot of cross-cultural collaboration. And for government and all other business sectors, I mean, we believe we're really great in terms of producing all these Miss Universe beauties, but we equally have such a wealth of artists, teachers, that can be a creative army in order, as what the President said, to fight poverty and terrorism and other social ills. Okay. And, yeah.
This is more on the art dance form. Back in 1959, when the renowned Bayanihan Folk Dance Company appeared on Broadway, the first Filipino group to appear on Broadway, I'm proud to say I was one of them, at the Winter Garden Theater. The first question that we were asked during our opening press briefing before our gala night was, is it true that you live on top of trees? Yes. So we were all, of course, shocked. But our only answer was, we would like to invite you to our country to be able to see how we live. That's what we answered. But through dance, we were able to open the eyes of other countries because we toured around the world. We were able to open their eyes to find out what is good, what is our heritage, what is our culture, and our art in the Philippines. So I believe that in dance, we can connect. We can have more understanding with other countries because through dance, there is also music, and we propagate the talent and the heritage of other countries. And so I thought maybe we should have an exchange program with other countries through dance. We started it in the Philippine Women's University. Started with Korea and Hong Kong, but it stopped. But I would like to continue that exchange program wherein other countries involved in UNESCO can exchange dance companies to dance for them, and they come here to dance for us, if that is viable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maribel, because that's precisely the celebration now in International Dance Week of the ITI. I mentioned that he was leaving for Cuba, where it's going to be held, but right here in the Philippines, many of our dancing groups, through Shirley Halili, who's chair of the dance committee now of NCCA, is having a dance exchange. And we're planning more every World Theater Day or Arts Day, but it has to be a policy. Maybe it's good that we're doing it in the Senate. There may be a greater input. I'll give you an example. There is no government support for a UNESCO Artist for Peace, which teaches blind, crippled, deaf. It's very hard. But when they see, I hope, when they see the achievement, the triumph of persons with disabilities, there may be a greater concern for a bill to help persons with disabilities who are handicapable. They are able to accomplish if given the same opportunity of training and caring. And that's what's important. You might be interested, one of the panelists that will be in the Senate is from Fiji. That's to give the Asia-Pacific point of view. And this Fijian is a sports champion. He is one-legged. You won't believe this, but he is the gold medalist in the Abbey Olympics for persons with disabilities, and he's the champion for high jumping with one leg. Isn't that amazing? He's going to come, because it's also in the Senate, and it will share the value of, he is a deputy minister of sports. So here, the exchange that Tita Maribel said can really be occurring in the Senate, in the AYAC Theater, And we want to thank Danny Delore for his hospitality too. I mean, this thing will not happen if we did not have partnerships. And that's the 17th Sustainable Development Goal, partnerships for development. And it's been crazy trying to get this done, and we thank everybody that has come in to give their full support.
I would also like to give an answer. This is what ITI is for. Like, you should approach with Cecile, become member of the International Dance Committee of ITI, and see how you can collaborate, invite people here, go to other places. This is one of the issues that we are working for in ITI every day. Like, when we think of, we do only administrative stuff, but finally what we want to do is that things like that happening.
Yes. And you're in Cuba from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have in the Bayanihan alumni, alumni already. We have this Baile Foundation, wherein we do research. It's a core group of the alumni. We do research. We go to provinces. We collate, and and music of Tita King Casilag. We continue her music researches, and Ramon Obosan. We continue his researches. This is called the Baile Foundation, and we keep costumes of them, of Pitoy, of Ben Farales, of Mary Esteban before. We keep, and we have an exhibit every year for that. So we would like to join.
Definitely, yeah.
This core group would like to help and join and give our help and support willingly.
Definitely will give the name, and for the meeting with Lisa Makuha and Shirley Halili, who's co-chairing this now, with Gigi Velarde David, they will ask to connect immediately with you, and your exhibit should be part of the next dance week. Amber?
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have any other questions from the group? All right, there being none, at this point in time, we would like to thank everyone who attended this press conference. And if ever you have further questions outside the press briefing, you may approach any one of the panelists here in front of you. So with that, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone.
Again, thank you to PCOO. We really are grateful for this opportunity to be live, to be on social media, and to spread the good news, the glad tidings. Thank you, PCOO, PIA.